Preparing to live stream this meeting. Setting up the meeting for YouTube. So far, so good. And by the way, what my whole thing went down, eh? Yeah, that's what I said, almost. Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of the YouTube. Okay. Okay, so Kirsten, this is where okay. This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. Scott entered, admit. Yahoo!
So are we live streaming?
We are live streaming.
Ooh, cool.
It says live on the side. So Sarah, admit. Sarah, Scott, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. I can.
All right.
Sarah.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hello. Look at this. We've got like Doug, Scott, and Sarah. I'm so excited. And YouTube. And Angie is coming. And Angie is there. Angie, are you on mute? Oh, Scott's
I am. No, I'm not.
perfect. Hi, Angie.
Hi.
And so it's just, I'm gonna put down that phone. So we're just waiting for Michael.
Yep.
Michael.
I've got 6:59 on my
Yep.
my clock, so you got a minute.
Exactly. I have 6:59 on mine. Oh, Scott, I think you're muted.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm muted.
Okay.
Your 7 bells.
Okay. So welcome. Welcome. I'll just keep an eye out for Michael to see if he's coming. Welcome to our meeting. Oh, admit.
Yep,
Hello,
he's on
Michael.
he's on the line. Mike's on the line now.
Perfect. All right. So welcome to the April 26, 2022 meeting for the Marrickville Wolford Recreational Health and Wellness Advisory Committee meeting. Yeah, we have an agenda for it is a virtual meeting, and this meeting will be held electronically. In order to ensure transparency, and audio recording of this meeting will be live streamed on YouTube on the Village Marrickville Wolford Committee's YouTube channel and posted on the village's website. It is 7 o'clock. We'll call to order. I see Scott, Sarah, Angie, and Michael Cameron and Mayor Struthers are all attending, as well as the chair of Janet Fitzpatrick. So welcome. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the nature thereof? No, from anyone?
No, I don't have anything.
Nope.
Okay, so we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Do we have someone to motion the approval of the agenda?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Sarah. A seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, we'll approve the agenda as written. We'll go on to the approval of the meeting minutes of March 22nd, 2022. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I can motion that as well.
Thank you, Sarah. A seconder?
I can second that as well.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Yep.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to the participation community better challenge. We have a number of things to discuss in this: the registration, advertisements, invitations, and events. So let's we'll start with the registration.
That's me.
Angie.
Yeah.
Angie, yeah.
So we are not yet registered. I am playing telephone tag with somebody from Participation. And she was sick for a while, so she is supposed to have called me today. She didn't. I will call her tomorrow and find out what happened. But as soon as I was hoping to have more information for you, but I'm asking her how to register, obviously as a community, but also how to register and what to do for the people who do not have access to technology, because obviously the setup is you register, you show which group you belong to, and then you track everything electronically. If you have a Fitbit or equivalent, then you can just upload that every now and then. But if you don't have any of that technology, I don't think it's quite as simple. So she's going to fill me in on all that when I do have that conversation. So sorry, I don't have more at the moment.
Awesome. But she knows we're on the process, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we still have like 4 weeks or whatever, because it's and it's a very quick process, she said. But it's we have to we can't start until June anyway, so we're not quite the end of April, so we've got time.
Perfect. With that, I guess with that, I did talk to Mary Kate at the library. And for anyone who does not have the technology and is not able to do that kind of inputting, she is more than willing to help with that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
So that anybody who doesn't have that technology could actually go to the library, count their steps to the library, and she will be more than willing to oblige and help do any of that registration or any of the the uploading of information.
So the registration and the logging of
Exactly. Yeah. So if we can get that out, and I guess we'll get into that when we do the advertisements and stuff like that. But if we can get that out into that would be really good, because it'll help everybody. We'll have inclusivity, well, you know, we make it inclusive for everyone that can to do something. So if they have access to all the technology.
No, that's great. I'll make sure to work that into. I just sent you guys last week the kind of drafts or the templates that I was kind of playing with.
Yeah.
But I like those are PDFs just to make it easier to send it. But I also obviously have the master copies that I'm going to tweak with color and stuff like that I can trade that out, because at the bottom, I won't get ahead of myself. I'll wait till we get there.
That's okay. Is there anything else about registration?
I don't think so for me. I will update you once we're registered. I will send out, you know, like all the email you need as soon as that's done. But otherwise that, I'm just waiting on the phone call.
Awesome. That's super. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to advertisements and invitations.
So
Sarah?
I went and spoke with Chris at COBA just to get a bit of an idea of costing for the ideas we came up with not about a month ago, I guess, when we had our first meeting to brainstorm this. So I just wrote down the rough numbers now. If we're going to go ahead and submit them to council, he said he's more than happy to write out like a written quote for us to submit. But from the numbers that he was able to give me that on that day, he said if we were going to do say 20 posters throughout the village, we had a list and I have it somewhere that we can go over later. For the larger posters, which were the, if you're looking at the drafts of the printouts of them, it's the bigger of the two. It's the one that has the 3 steps as to how to participate. So those, he said, would be about $1.25 per poster. And then I also talked to him about the idea of maybe like the bag stuffers or something that we can put at more of the places where locals would go. So the library, the grocery store, maybe if the post office would let us leave a stack there. He can do them postcard size, which is not a 4x6, what's the next size up? A 5x7?
5x7.
So he said about 500 of those would cost us $100. So not too bad, I think, for the number of advertisements we'd get for that. And then he also gave me a good idea while I was there. He said that we could probably run an ad in the May or June, the June edition of the Merrickville Phoenix. An ad would cost $100 if you want it within the body of the paper, but if you put an ad at the back page, it's only $5 for an ad. And he said even better to call and see if they would do a story about it, and then it's free advertisement.
Well, it's true.
That's a
something
great
we can
idea.
consider.
The story is a great idea.
So yeah, we can maybe reach out to see if they're willing to do a story, which would be a free advertisement, and we can get as much information as we want into that, as opposed to trying to fit everything in a, an 1/8 of a page ad in the back of a newspaper and the back of the Phoenix. So just something that we can discuss about if we want to go forward with, but those are the numbers that he was able to give me just kind of off the cuff at that meeting.
Anybody have thoughts about the Phoenix portion?
Yeah, I have a thought about that. Phoenix did a little bit of a shout out to the people that ran it last year, so it would probably be a good idea to build on that. I like the story idea, and we can maximize the information. So, and we can build off of last year's numbers and try to get some motivation going. Advertising and getting the word out, I think, will lead to the success of this event. So, the more we put into it in means of advertising, I think it's money well spent.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I think I agree with that too. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yep.
Doug, I see you waving your hand.
Yeah, thank you. And building on building on the comments of doing an article and Mike's as well. There's always should also think of the North Grenville Times, because they do, their paper is weekly. Nothing wrong with the Phoenix, it comes out at the beginning of the month. So, is that, June 1st or maybe the 2nd, wouldn't hurt to have something in 1 or 2 weeks prior to the 1st of June. Something very similar to what you have in the Phoenix.
When I was there, what day did I go? It was the day before we were supposed to have our last meeting. So I went on the 18th of April, and they had just submitted their May issue. So yeah, we have to have that in 2 weeks before it is to be printed. So that would be something that we would have to reach out to essentially, I guess, in the next couple weeks to have that done in time.
Yeah, May 20th would be the deadline for the June edition of the Phoenix. And another question, I don't have a copy of the suggested posters and so on in front of me. However,
I'll send that to you right now, Doug.
yeah, well, thank you. See if I can do it this way. Is it possible? Doesn't have to be the whole
to get
thing,
the
but
logo.
maybe put the logo. I don't know whether you want to put all of that on, but certainly the logo would be pretty cool to have on if that's possible.
The logo for what? Sorry, Doug? For the participation?
Yeah. I know it's participation and so on, but it is Merrickville Wolford that's entering. So I don't know whether it would work, but it'd be kind of a suggestion to consider having the municipal branding logo on there, whether you have the Jewel of the Rita or not. You could,
Okay.
Certainly it's iconic, the artwork, and obviously, anyway, just a thought, given that it is
I didn't put those in initially, but I can work those in, no problem. So I did just email you another copy of the drafts that I put the Participation Community Better Challenge logo on, but I did not put the Merrickville one. So that I can try and work in there as well. That shouldn't be a problem. As far as information on those cards go, I tried to keep it simple so that people can absorb as much as possible rather than having to, take out a pen and write down different things. At the bottom, I have a contact line because at the last meeting, we had discussed possibly having someone available to help out if someone had questions. Would it now be better to just put contact the Merrickville Library for questions and assistance?
Well, if I make a suggestion, it might be better someone from the committee, because it may not be a technology question that, Mary Kate at the library could help with. It might be, I mean, who knows what other questions there might be.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be someone from the committee, and essentially what you'd be doing, we're using the word triage. If you don't have the answer, contact the library. If it's a technology question, if it's something else, you may already know the answer or could easily get it from another member of the committee or Mike or myself.
Okay. So whose contact and number are we gonna put on there? Is there anyone who is available during the day? Like I'm working during the day, so I would only be available basically like in an evening. But is there someone who'd be more or less available more often during the day, maybe, to be able to deal with any calls that might come in?
You can put my number down.
Okay, and what number? Do you want to just send that to me privately then, Angie?
Well, it's going to be all over the poster, but,
Yes, so. True.
but I'll send it to you so you have it. Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing, just so that when you guys are looking at it, I know some of the colors behind the clip art are different than the background. I will fix that in the final draft, but just at the time that I did them, I didn't have time to do the fine tuning on it. But when it's printed, it'll all be one solid color. And I don't know if we have any specifics on the colors. I went with the colors from the Participation website, so that if someone were to look it up, there was that cohesion between, oh yeah, that looks the same as what I saw in the community. I'm at the right place.
No, I like the poster. It was simple,
Yeah.
easy to read, and I like the colors and the logo.
Okay, I will work in the Merrickville logo somewhere if I can find a space or move things around. So I'll definitely try that in there. So I'll put a note here.
The other thing that I saw, and I'm not sure, so I don't have it right in front of me right now, and I just looked on the computer to see if I had it, but was there a date on the poster? I know it was on the cards.
I'm
But-
looking, it has June 1st to 30th.
Right, but the poster,
Oh, I don't have that on the poster, so
No.
I'll definitely put that on there as well.
thank you.
Poster dates. Okay, so
I think-
I will, is it okay as far as regulation goes that once I have these kind of updated, can I just send that out to the team for an okay without it being at a meeting?
Yes.
Like that can be circulated, we can discuss changes or anything on that through email. It doesn't have to be on a conference call.
If I might, you're all agreeing that you want to do posters and the content of the posters to be finalized, let's say by Sarah, and you're going to share it just so everybody's in agreement. So it's not really a.
And then bringing in the quote for council,
Exactly.
how do we go about that? Because I know we're not going to pay for printing anything until we've gotten the approval from council that we can pay for anything. So how does that portion work?
My suggestion is, well, we have a council meeting on the first week of May, whatever it is. Quick, Mike, what's the date? The 9th, I do believe. The 9th, second Monday.
By May 9th? I will
Yeah.
get it done.
So
before
you
that.
won't have, what you could do, Angie, is send to the municipality draft minutes from this evening. And Mike and I could just speak briefly, not so much to the whole of the minutes, but to say that they will be looking for some advertising, and it would be in the neighborhood of, and if you
About
can let
$150
that there was a number less than, whether it's less than $100, at less than $200, and we'd just be seeking council approval that that process, following the appropriate process, that the funds would be available to cover those costs. Does that sound reasonable, Mike?
So do we have?
Yeah,
to-
I think,
Oh, sorry.
I think that's the way to go. A request for $200.
Or whatever, yeah, whatever the number is, Sarah, you can get back.
Yeah,
with us.
so if we're all in agreement that I think 500, 8 by
Yeah.
7, whatever, I can't remember the numbers. 8
5 by 7.
5 by 7, like a postcard size. I think 500 is more than enough for a supplementary kind of thing. And those can just go at, again, we don't need to advertise and waste those funds on visitors. That's just for locals. So a couple of the places where just locals tend to go, rather than every store on the main drag. So 500, I think, should be enough. And then say 25 posters, we're looking at $150 as an estimate.
So maybe what you could do when you circulate the posters, when everybody's in agreement, send a copy to Mike and I, and with your estimates, saying it's going to be a number under $200. I think Mike and I'd be comfortable to communicate that with council and get their support.
So we'll estimate, we'll put it as a $200, less than $200 request in our draft minutes.
Yes, because don't forget, you have to include HST.
Yep. No, I think that is the way to go personally. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but
No,
yeah.
that's perfect.
So when I talked, also, Doug, would you recommend that we also get like a firm quote for the payment then? Like get Chris to write something up that says 30 posters and 500 cards will be $157 for us to bring to council or to the municipality, or do we all just do this by?
If they're able to give a quote and those are the numbers you and the committee think are going to be sufficient, that would be great.
Okay.
Just remember, you're at this point, you're not committing to
Right.
Chris, because the committee can't do that. So that would be Mike and I, that we'll do the heavy lifting at the council table on that one.
And if they say, yeah, go ahead, then I can get the firm copy quote to give in.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right.
So
And
can I just ask, do we then have to have a motion and a motioner and a seconder and a carried in order to put this request forward in the minutes?
Well, I have no problem putting in the motion. If we want to be on
I
the,
think that would be good to have in there. Yes.
Okay, so the motion is for the RHWAC, whatever it is, to approach council and request a budget of less than $200 for advertising for participation.
And that's based, and you could say that's based on whether you want to use Sarah's name or not. Sarah confirming the numbers at a price estimate or draft quote, whatever you want to call it, from, and you fill in the blank who it's from. I would include that as well, Angie. Okay.
All right, well, I'll send out the draft and before I send it to the municipality, and you can tell me if the motion wording is okay.
At any rate, if everybody's comfortable with that kind of wording that Angie's going to put together, then you would have a mover and a seconder now.
Okay.
And vote.
I'll move on that for sure. That's a great idea.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sarah, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
And with that
May
too,
I-
And did I
Go ahead,
hear
Mike.
the chair ask if everybody was in favor?
Yeah, no, exactly. Is everybody in favor of that?
Yep.
Scott,
Yes.
Mike? Well,
Yes.
yes.
No, Mike and I don't vote.
No, I know. I said, that's what I said, Mike. I hung my head, but you can't see me hanging my head. So, so, yeah, so it is, so that's perfect, that's passed.
Great.
All in agreement. And the other thing too is that when we send our draft minutes, perhaps we can also, or when we send it to go to council, Sarah, perhaps the copy of the poster and the flyer should go with that quote. Just so that when they go to when they're at the council table, they can actually see what they're looking at or see the poster.
Yep. Okay.
Great idea.
Thank you.
So and you said the council meeting is on May the 9th, so we'll get an answer at that point to tell me, yes, go ahead and get all this stuff together.
That's correct.
Okay.
And if you can make sure you send in the draft minutes by at the latest Monday, May the 2nd.
That's next Monday. Okay,
Yeah, time flies.
great.
Awesome. Okay,
So
anything
may I
else?
ask-
Oh, sorry, go
May
ahead.
I ask a quick question?
You may.
Hello? Yep.
Hello?
Thank you. Hi, I'm here. So, Jan, are you going to reach out to the Phoenix and to the North Granville Times and create an article for those two papers?
I was just gonna say about, as far as invitations, I will reach out to both of them. As far as the story and yeah, I'll reach out to both the Phoenix and North Granville Times.
Yeah, because I think one person should take charge on that, and since you're the chair, it would be a good idea for you to do so.
Yep. Yes, I was going to volunteer with that. So awesome. Anything else as far as advertisement and invitations?
Oops. I don't know if you,
Sorry.
sorry, no, I just had some static for a second.
Yeah, I had a little update. Okay, so we'll go on to events. Do we have events planned? Do you want to have events planned?
I think we should do something to launch it. Even if it's just somebody running around the village, but I think we should do something to launch it.
Well, how about the Recreational Health and Wellness Committee kick it off with a village walk where we go in as participants as well, and you know, we gather some support and we map out a little trail and go for a walk around the village.
Yeah, that sounds
of
good.
the event.
Meet somewhere like the library or the track where there's some parking available if people are coming in from outside of the village itself. And
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that would be then on Wednesday, Wednesday, June the 1st.
Correct.
Yeah, for the first day, I think it would be appropriate for us to meet as a team, and we could you know, head the event and you know, advertise it as well. When Jan is talking in the papers, she could mention that, and so
I
we
can
could
work
gather
that
some-
into maybe the poster and the cards if I can fit that in without it being too overwhelming in that.
The more information and the more advertising, the better. That's gonna you know, guarantee us some success in this.
Now,
Advertising is the way to go here.
What kind of time would you like to do the walk at?
I think probably around 9 in the morning, if everybody's okay with that.
It's a Wednesday though, it's a work day.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a work.
yeah.
So
Well,
maybe we should do it at like, say 7. Because it's
we
still
could
late.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah.
too late for little ones?
Yeah, I was going to say,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
might want to, well, don't have to finalize it tonight, but I think whoever just said whatever the little ones, it might be an opportunity to think about a little earlier than 7.
yeah.
Like 5:30, is that too? That's when everybody, the little ones eat though, isn't it?
For some, that's the middle of dinner. I mean, you know, to be all over the place, you know, why not this or as opposed to that? But something before 7 o'clock, I don't know whether that means 6:30 or 6.
if 6 o'clock, then split the difference. They can
Yeah.
have early dinner, walk from 6 to 7, still be home by 7.
I have
And
a
like-
suggestion.
Go ahead,
I
Mike.
have a suggestion. Okay. How about we do it in 2 events? We can do an evening walk, and in the morning to kick off the event, we could reach out to the schools in the village and get the kids to participate in a morning kickoff with whomever on the committee can make it, and in the evening, the rest of the committee, the whole committee could do an evening walk as well. That sound like something we could do?
That would be kind of fun. If we can get the school going.
You think of it, we have 3 schools right? Merrickville Public, Sainte Marguerite, and Merrick Prep. And I'm going on the assumption that the school, Merrick Prep, goes sometime into June. I'm not sure if they're here to the end of June. If we could find out the times that the classes start, we could walk whichever one you want to start at, depending on the school start time, could go from, for argument's sake, Merrickville, actually the Merrickville Prep might be easy to do the last, but go to the Merrickville Public School. It's a nice walk down Drummond Street, keep on going, and you end up at Sainte Marguerite, and let the schools know, so maybe they might do something that day as well, and then end up over by Merrick Prep. And then, so that's the morning one, as Mike was saying, for the schools, and then do an evening one at 6 or 6:30, a broader community involvement.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good. Now for the,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for the posters, if we're not 100% sure on the times, what if on the posters and the cards, I just put something more broad, like follow us on Merrickville Participation or whatever, and we can give updates through Facebook then as we have them?
And absolutely, and they can put them on the municipal page as well. And don't forget, there's the opportunity, if it's not a whole lot of detail on the posters, again, the North Grenville Times is the weekly paper. Can always have a supplemental story or whatever. The big kickoff is on June the 1st. Join us at 8 a.m. at the schools, 6 p.m. at the fairgrounds, or wording to that effect.
Yeah.
I think most of the schools are in with the buses around a little after between 9 and 9:15. So 10 a.m. kickoff would probably be best. That allow the kids to get settled in and allow the teachers to get the kids out and ready for the walk. I think 10 a.m. and start in the morning.
Well, wait until, I think, we can find out the details on that, because whether they want it during, anyway, won't get too far ahead of ourselves on that, but I think all of these suggestions are great ideas.
For now, what I'll do on those posters is, like I said, just put something that indicates that there's something they can look into, like a Facebook page and the municipality website for events and updates, or something that's just kind of vague, so that even we may decide on doing more things during the month, or maybe a weekly walk or something like that. And instead of having to keep editing posters or adding new posters, updates, we can just kind of direct them all to one place where we can do real-time updates.
Yeah. I think if you're going to put anything on in that regard, just say, kickoff June the 1st. We'll be on June the 1st, and people can find out the details later, as you indicated.
Yep. Perfect.
Perhaps we could also have an event with council and staff as well, if the mayor's interested in getting involved in that.
Yeah.
We could come up with some kind of an event for that. We do have a volunteer fire department as well. We have a lot of different events that we could develop as we move forward on this.
Yeah.
So by us participating may motivate some more people to participate.
Yeah. Could be a noon hour
Challenge.
a noon hour municipal staff walk.
Yeah.
Because I know some of the staff do walk on their lunches anyway.
That's a great
So
idea.
I think the more creative we get, and the more we involve municipality in respect to council and staff and our recreational health and wellness committee, it would be representative motivation for some people. So get that, we can reach out to other committees to see if they would be interested in creating an event. We could reach out. There's a lot of things that we could reach out and talk to people about. We have the store owners. We have individual groups that do exercise. We have a group of ladies that walk. So reaching out and talking to the different aspects within the municipality, I think we could create, a event that, could surpass last year's.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it's just something that brings people together outside, right? Like
Yeah.
last year, I
Doesn't
think
have-
I looked up, we were like top 30 with no advertisement. So
That's right.
That's correct, and we were 120th across Canada. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a last-minute effort, and it was just basically done on Facebook. But, I mean, we do have a little bit more resource here with the council and the municipality participating in it. And we have our recreation, health, and wellness behind it. So I think we could, garner some more support, and, we could actually, have a chance at winning this. So I think, any event that we can think of, no matter how ridiculous it is, the more fun it is, the more you may intrigue people, is the better, right? We could up and be creative in all sorts of ways.
one question regarding the Facebook advertisements from last year. I think it was, I don't know if it was, I'm blanking on who it was, someone in the community, I think.
Katie,
Oh, was it Katie who actually did
Yeah.
it?
yeah,
So-
well,
Yeah,
so
Kate.
she started it last year just as a community member.
yeah.
Right.
Would it be best for us to start a brand new one that is led by us, or do we just let that standing page go
You
and
You want a new one? You want
want
a
a
new
new
one?
one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to start a new page because full involvement, and we have a recreational health and wellness committee involvement. So
Yeah.
it needs to fly under the municipal flag. So creating that new page is something that we need to do.
And what needs to be on that kind of page that, like, is there anyone who wants to take that on, or do you want me to do that?
The
I've
question,
never
Angie, if I could, Madam Chair, if I could, to Angie, the lady you're going to be speaking with from Participation, is that a source where they can, you can get suggestions as to what a community would have on their Facebook page, or any other tools to promote our participation?
I can certainly ask Marion when I talk to her, yeah. But I very much doubt they will set one up for you. I think we'll still have to do that.
You understand, yeah, but just to, rather than, us starting with a blank piece of paper, even if it's just verbally, go look at somebody else's page and not steal, but borrow other people's efforts.
Okay, I'll ask her about that. I think they've now issued like a whole package, which I haven't had a chance to look at. She only sent me that email today. But I will go through that and find out what's on there.
There's also another option that's a little bit, I don't know if it's easier or harder, but I'm pretty sure that the Village of Merrickville-Wolford has a Facebook page already.
Yes.
And it says that it's run as a government organization. I'm assuming that is run by the village, like by the municipal offices. Could we just not send them things to post on their behalf or on our behalf on an existing Facebook page run through the municipality's offices rather than start a new one? Like, I see that they've been posting things fairly recently, March 16th, April 12th, April 11th, April 6th. So it's active and running. Maybe we just direct them to the Village of Merrickville-Wolford's Facebook page and then send in little blurbs to them to post on our behalf.
I think whichever one is going to get the most, I'll call it traction, without speaking for staff, what they may or may not have to do, or
Okay.
give somebody from the committee authorization to
Upload.
update things. That is certainly an option. I'm just not sure which one, is a better functional point of view, not
Probably
functional.
having its own page, because that way people can, they like to participate, right? So they can say, we went for our walk tonight. Who else went? And there could be that communication with people without taking over the village's page.
I
Well,
think
not
the
only-
other,
So I was just going to say, and not only that, if somebody from the committee is, I'll say, managing it, there could be something at 8 o'clock at night you want to update. Otherwise, you would have to wait, if municipal staff are doing it, wait till the next day, or it's it may be less complicated if it's a standalone that the committee manages.
Well, I can look into doing that if no one, I don't know. I don't want to, I don't know if anyone else has experience doing it. I have never set up a Facebook page, especially one on behalf of someone else, but do any of you use Facebook or feel
can
more confident with it?
I can spell Facebook.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, I feel like it should be easy enough, but I also have never done it. So I can take a stab at it. And if I need help, maybe we can meet somewhere and try and figure it out. But to do that, we will still need the permission from someone to do that on our behalf, or no?
We can find out.
I believe last year, one of the requirements was a single operator of the Facebook page. So there was only one person that had the ability to manage it.
Okay.
So I see the same this way. But I mean, if we're having difficulty creating our own Facebook page, perhaps it may be wise that we get permission from council to draft content for Facebook posts through the village. Like, we do the legwork and just forward it to the staff, and staff just needs to post it on the Facebook page. That way there we're not overwhelming staff with constant updates and so on and so forth, where they have to create it.
Sorry.
Yeah, we could be creating the content and just forwarding that content to a staff member that updates the Facebook page, and that way they just have to, put it on the Facebook, or we could get permission to have somebody on the recreational health and wellness to have that access. So there's a couple of ways to do it. So
yeah,
let's explore and see what we can do.
My only concern with that would be if people have questions about the material that is posted through their website, would they be able to answer it, or would they just be getting potentially tens and tens of these?
Why don't we leave it, Sarah? Why don't we leave it, Sarah? You do a little investigation
Exactly.
to how easy it may be to set up a Facebook page, or someone to help you do it even.
Who could I reach out to at the municipal offices to help me with that if I'm not sure how to do it? Is there a specific person that would be best to go to ask these questions?
Probably not.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Sarah, if you have a problem setting it up, let me know, because I know enough tech savvy people that can probably help you with that.
Okay. And I know we've been saying that we're going to be meeting on the third Tuesday of every month, because we're ramping up to a pretty, like, we're kind of running out of time to get all this stuff ironed out, right? We would only have one more meeting before the kickoff. Is it something that we might be able to, like, for the next few weeks, do things more frequently until we have this all ironed out and ready to go?
I was going to suggest that when we got to our next meeting date, exactly, that we might want to have one in a week or 2 weeks, especially because we lost last week. And so now we're kind of, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit behind the 8 ball a little bit. So if we did have another meeting, perhaps next week is May, right?
Yes.
Can anybody can you have that information? Can you have your stuff done for next week, or do you want to wait for the week after? Council's meeting on next week, right?
No, the 9th.
The 9th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
As far as get everything ready as like saying
Your poster information, all that kind of stuff.
I should be able to chip away at that maybe this weekend, and we can try and do something next week. I'm unfortunately not available the Wednesday or the Thursday next week, though. I would only be available Monday or Tuesday.
How's that sit with anybody else?
Tuesday is best for me.
It's possibly difficult. I'm working days, barring any emergencies, I'd be unavailable.
Okay, is that, do you want to do the email thing or try for the email then for next week? And then we'll have the poster emailed and that sort of stuff. And then we can set the meeting for the following week. And then do the 2nd and the 3rd maybe?
Yeah, I'm definitely available on the 10th.
The 10th?
And I'm definitely
also
available
available
on
the
the 17th. The 10th and the 17th, I'd both be available those days.
I think we already have one tentatively booked for the 17th. So what if we book the 10th and the 17th?
Exactly.
Yep, that'd work.
That works for me.
Special on the 10th, and then we do our regular meeting on the 17th.
And in the meantime, I will try and get these poster drafts organized out, so we can have that done in time for the next meeting, so we can decide if we're putting those through for printing or not at that time, instead of looking at the drafts at that time and then.
Perfect.
All right. And then I'll also, by the next meeting, try and have this Facebook thing figured out, or at least reach out and say I don't have it figured out.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, that's Sarah.
But I suggest, Madam Chair,
Yes.
because usually the secretary can contact the, whatever the contact is, the deputy clerk, advising that you would like to book the YouTube channel for Tuesday, the 10th at 7 p.m. and also Tuesday, the 17th, because it's one it's one channel, for all the different
Right.
committees. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Great.
chance we can meet in person with them?
Let's stay with this at the moment, because we weren't able to do last night's meeting. Oh, sorry, it would not be in person. No, I can be
Okay.
sure of that part. Yeah.
Okay. So their next meeting then, if it's approved, would be the 10th at 7.
Correct.
Great.
And the 17th at 7. So Angie, you'll reach out to the deputy chair for that? Or
Yep.
the deputy clerk? Sorry, deputy clerk?
Yeah, because you just want to make sure that nobody else already, no other advisory committee has booked the Zoom time.
Right.
The YouTube time.
Okay. I'll do that
Awesome.
tomorrow.
Last question from me. I know we've talked about, we can discuss any change, like once I send out the drafts through email, we can discuss that openly through email to make sure that everyone's on board. Is that the same with any issues I have or questions or updates I have with the Facebook page? I can do the same thing, just send an email out to the committee saying either I have it set up or I can't do it or whatever, and we can discuss that through email now that we've discussed it here, saying that's something we're going to go forward with.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that gives us a lot, like the gift of a lot more time that way.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so, sorry.
Sorry, I've just got one quick question. When we were talking about reaching out to the schools, do we have anybody actually assigned to do that? Or is it just a vague reach out to the schools?
We will, when I
I
talk
can
to
do
the,
it for you if you want, Madam Chair.
pardon me?
I can contact the schools if you'd like.
That'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
I know the principals, and I can just give them a bit of an idea of what we're thinking about doing and get them to put their thinking caps on and how we could fit something in to do and would align with their school schedule.
Thank you, that would be great. Schools, super. Okay, anything else as far as participation? No? How about any new business?
Yeah, I've got one quick new business.
Okay.
Before we adjourned in this last summer, we had a plan going forward, and we were talking about like updating the Facebook and getting more information out there for the public. Are we going to do that again, or are we shelving all that because, we were talking about getting new photos up and making sure that the municipal website was up to date so that people knew that there were tennis courts and beaches and all that sort of stuff.
Whoa. Okay, anybody have a comment about that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we were talking about taking some pictures of some of the facilities because like people weren't aware that there were tennis courts in Easton's Corners and stuff like that. I think that's still something we can address. Can we maybe start that in July once?
I agree. Like, I think for the for the next 2 months, we've got enough on our plates. I just didn't want it to get lost because I felt like it made sense what we had talked about. And I thought it was a very positive thing that the committee could do. So I'll put it forward I'll just put it at the bottom of the minutes of the agenda so that it just gets pushed forward each month until July.
Perfect. And the other thing too is I think with this participation thing that we might actually it'll kind of come into the position as well, right? It'll kind of come to the forefront because if we can get everybody on board and get everybody participating and doing things, we'll actually have more exposure.
Well, then on that regard, how about for the Facebook page, Doug, I might need your weighing in on this. Instead of starting a Facebook page for Participation Month, would it be okay to do one for the Recreation, Health and Wellness Committee and advertise for participation through that? And then that could also be a kind of a way for us to bring in these updates to the community resources through that page rather than having to do a whole new kind of interface for every project we have. It can be kind of our main line to get information from what we're working on here to the community.
Maybe you might want to think about that a wee bit because sort of if you go to the regular, I'll call it regular committee updates, if you will, outside of participation would not necessarily be that frequent, and it might be just as easy to put at that point, put it on the municipal Facebook page. Anyway, a little bit of soak time on that as to what might be best to do. I'm not sure which would be best.
And something else to think about maybe, Sarah, is that if we have one dedicated to participation, that subsequent years could adopt it and use that web page or that Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
I'm supper waiting. I have supper waiting.
All right. So it is 7:50. Do I have, we have our next meeting date for May the 10th, correct? At 7 o'clock.
Correct.
And we'll follow that with our regular meeting date of May the 17th. Do I have anybody to motion to adjourn the meeting?
Hope so.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Scott, thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Angie. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, so our meeting then is adjourned. It is 7:51. Thank you all. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you for your patience.
Hey, great meeting.
Well done,
Great
Jane.
meeting. Really great meeting.
Yeah, good job, guys.
And we'll talk to you, everybody, on the 10th.
All right. Here, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.